If I was trading without the breath, my long would have been right here. January 19th, right here at like 27,000 or so. With the breath, our long was on the 16th. You would have been long here at around 25,500, about $1,500 earlier than my trading plan's long. Kind of frustrating. I'm like, damn, I've been using this trading plan forever and it's worked very well, and the breath is just destroying me. So something for me to reconsider myself about how much do I want to rely on the breath versus my own trading signals. Maybe I rely a little bit more on the breath and trust it a little bit more and consider taking trades a little bit earlier before certain signals my own fire. Investor sentiment, I talk about this every week. Bullishness dropped a little bit, makes sense considering the market dropped a little bit, but we've still got extreme bullish exuberance. So it makes sense that bulls are cooling their jets, and the breadth that we have is also bearish. Let's look at volume of options, what's going on here. So we've got a call wall at 440, massive put wall at 4,300. So obviously we're probably not going to go below 4,300. It's just not going to happen. Not going to go below down here. That's your major wall. I don't see the market going below there. Max pain is sitting right at 43, honestly 43.50. I would say 43.50, which is right kind of where we bounced from. We bounced right from 43.50. What a surprise. Let's go to a higher time frame here. We've been in this uptrend for quite a while. We're still in it. No breakdown yet on a weekly chart. I would not get crazy bearish just yet. Even a 3-day, you see uptrend fully intact, no breakdown here. Daily chart, no breakdown. So this is what I mean when you incorporate the breadth as part of a trading plan. Like for me, even though the breadth is short, I can't get that short because there's no breakdown in RSI for me. There's nothing here. There's nothing here to signify to me that the market is going to break down yet. Yes, we have over exuberant bulls. Yes, we have a breadth that's negative. But we don't have an RSI that's broken down. It's still very green for me. If I try to trade against the RSI when it's like this, it's not going to work well. I'll probably get crushed. I mean, I also had a TD9 that came in. So of course we would get a pullback, but that doesn't mean that we can't push higher. There's no reason why we can't. We even completed an ABCD here. We had this completion of this ABCD, okay? But we can still hit the top of the range up here. There's no reason why we can't go up here to 4,500, take out these highs, grab this liquidity before we finally maybe roll over. So that's the daily chart. There's nothing that's broken down for me yet. There's just nothing. I mean, lower time frame, 1 hour, it actually looks like we're breaking higher. So there's no reason why we can't move a little bit higher. Maybe we do something like this, pull back, okay, and then we head up here, and we're somewhere up here, and we finish up there. I don't see why that can't happen. What's going on with this 4.669 I have? Why do I have this 4.669? Where was this drawn from? Yeah, okay. So I created this from this midpoint consolidation zone. We tagged 2.618 right here, 1.618 here, and we perfectly tagged 4.669 right here. Not a surprise. Now, what about this cluster here? That's the high of the cluster, and that's kind of the low of the cluster right there. Yeah, so it's the exact same. We tagged it. And where is the next high? 8.77 is at 45.80. So all of this makes perfect sense. We've got a 7 that's come in on the 12-hour. On the 4-hour, we hit a 9 in the Tom DeMark. It would make sense to bounce from here. I think we're in a distribution stage now, and we've got to go through this distribution stage before we can expect any kind of pullback. I'd be very careful with shorting just yet. Be very, very careful. The market always takes time to pull back. It doesn't happen right away. It did happen quite quickly here, but for the most part lately, you can see we consolidate, distribute, roll over, accumulate, push higher, distribute, roll over, accumulate, push higher, accumulate, push higher again. And now I think we're going to go through a bit of a distribution before we then at least roll over a bit. So be careful. The main message is be careful with your shorts. If you're getting crazy about going short, be careful, because this could take a while. Everyone's going crazy about crypto this week. Why don't we talk about Bitcoin really quick? Crypto is, this was an insane move, totally insane, but it makes sense after this, essentially this coiling to the downside. And almost if you look at it from a weekly time frame, look at this weekly time frame. This almost looks like a bull flag. Big rally, 1 week, huge rally, consolidation forever. Like, how much did we consolidate? We didn't really move much after this 28,000 level. It was just a little bit to 30. So we consolidated from March until June. So March, April, May, June, 4 months of consolidation pretty much, all springing together to create this slingshot move higher. And that's what it is. It's a very powerful push higher. You can see when RSI is in the green zone and then finally breaks out, that's when you get these huge moves, and that's exactly what happened. Right like that. Actually, on a daily chart, it's a bit easier to see. Yeah, so your breakout was basically right here, right like that. So this was your breakout, and on my traditional trading setup, I would have, if I was trading without the breath, my long would have been right here on January 19th, right here at like 27,000 or so. With the breath, our long was when? On the 16th, right? So you would have been long here at around 25,500, about $1,500 earlier than my trading plan's long, which is kind of frustrating. I'm like, damn, I've been using this trading plan forever and it's worked very well, and the breath is just destroying me. So something for me to reconsider myself about how much do I want to rely on the breath versus my own trading signals. Maybe I give a little bit more, maybe I rely a little bit more on the breath and trust it a little bit more, and consider taking trades a little bit earlier before certain signals of my own fire. Anyway, so if you look here, anytime we push up this hard, the rally usually doesn't just stop. It consolidates, it can move higher. And you can see how we consolidated for a while before we had one last push higher. I don't see why that couldn't happen here. We did hit a 7 on the daily, which indicates a pullback or a pause. So be careful, do be careful. Something else I wanted to point out was that we are in this huge uptrend. Let me adjust this though. Look, this is kind of the point I wanted to make though. Here's the top of the trend channel that got tagged. Here's the lower end. And we basically have this midpoint, which seems to have been respected quite well. And it's being respected quite well, but we're on the other side of this uptrend. And to me, it looks like we're simply consolidating, or then we have a second move higher, which would bring us all the way up to 33,800, almost 34,000, which is the 50% retracement of the entire move. So we go right back to the 50%, which of course is going to be a major resistance level. And we get right above all of this liquidity here. Massive amount of liquidity. It would make sense to take out these highs and head up a little bit higher. This is definitely a big zone that I think is very important to pay attention to. And I don't see why we wouldn't take out this whole zone area right up here. It makes perfect sense to me, and that's where I think we're going. Could you get a pullback before then? Yes, of course. A lot of things signaling the possibility for a pullback. However, considering how strong the daily is, I have a hard time believing it's going to be any kind of significant pullback. And we're merely just consolidating, going to wash out a few bulls before we then head higher to our next target up here. Right, like that. Around 33,500 area right there. 33,000, yeah, 33,700, 33,600, somewhere between, basically between 33 and 34,000, I would say is a good zone to target. We could watch this develop a little bit more, and we could actually create chaos levels off this. And ironically, chaos level points to the same exact thing, 33,400. So right in that zone. And ironically, you could probably create a little plan on how this is going to work out. So it'll consolidate a bit more, push up to this 1.618, reverse, do something like this, push up again, 2.618, come back down, reverse, and then do this before finally hitting that 4.669, maybe push through a little bit, and then we'll start rolling over, can distribute before it finally rolls over. That's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. That's what I expect. And generally that's how price moves when you have a defined chaos target and defined uptrend, which we definitely have. Maybe I take a quick look at the total. But I think it looks pretty much the same as Bitcoin. There's really nothing standing out here. I don't like that on the daily we do have something like this where we're just barely pushing above this RSI line. But I think, overall it's okay. I think you're already above it. But you have a 7 coming in. So a little bit of pullback could be expected. I don't see why we wouldn't continue this extremely bullish uptrend.